Um, First, again, I want to just say thank you to John, to Foster, to the entire team that puts on Frisco Connect that we've been hosting for, a decade and a half at least, and all of those that are out front that took your registration. Things don't happen without people doing things, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you to give a little bit of your time to come here. I'm confident that you will walk away more filled than when you came in. And that's a good day's work. So they asked me to come in and just to offer a welcoming prayer and maybe a note or two of encouragement. And today's going to be pretty simple, pretty basic at that point. For some of you, it may be a reaffirmation of a belief. But one of my favorite authors is C.S. Lewis, and C.S. Lewis says, people don't need to know more, they need to remember better. So perhaps it's an opportunity to remember. For some of you who are kind of on the fence, this may bring some clarity, but quite frankly, you haven't seen evidence of this truth. And so you're wondering, is it true? And for some of you, it may be an opportunity to discover a whole new place in which to draw some encouragement. So I'm going to share with you a couple of common truths that you've probably bumped into and heard speakers talk about, and then give a supporting biblical truth behind it. And like I said, for some of you just need to remember better. Oh yeah, that's what it said. For some of you need to go, yeah, I've heard this, but man, Fisher, I don't see any evidence of this. And I want to remind you of the truth. And for some, I've never heard that before. Kind of want to find out a little bit more what's going on with that. And that would be, like I said, a good day's work. I do have a belief that faith isn't faith until it's tested. And for some of you right now, your faith is being tested. I trust my God is big enough, our God is big enough to handle that, but I get it. Faith isn't faith until it's tested. So we hear this statement. The season of job hunting is often a test of patience, self-worth, and faith. However, this downtime is not a pause in your purpose. It's an active season of preparation, growth, and divine redirection. I believe you are being shaped for a role that aligns with your unique gifts. You hear stuff like that, and you want to believe that's true. The Bible says something like, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4:8. Perhaps you've heard this. It's like waiting for a door to open can feel discouraging, but God's timing is perfect, don't worry. Delays are rarely denials. There are often redirections protecting you from the wrong environment or preparing you for something even greater. Trust that God is orchestrating steps behind the scenes. A scripture that is associated with that is, wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. Perhaps you've heard this. In a culture driven by career titles, it's easy to tie your self-worth to your employment status. Remember that your primary identity is not found in what you do for a living, but in whose you are. You're created in the image of God, and your value is unwavering, employed or not. There's that truth that sometimes, perhaps you've heard this or seen this before, that the value, I mean, if I gave Foster, if this was $100, I guarantee you Foster would take it. Right? And no problem with that, right, Foster? Yeah, you take it. But if I did this to it, if I'd give this to Foster, he'd still take it, right? Yeah. The reason is this has been stamped with an identity that demonstrates its value. I could take this into a bank and I could get a brand new one like this, but it's still worth it because it's been given that identity. That's what those of you who believe in a God have been given. You've been given an identity. And no matter how much you've been stepped on, torn, crinkled, ruptured, you still have that identity. And there's still worth and value that I could redeem this any place that would take $1. And you are redeemable. You are still have worth and value. And so you hear things in a culture driven by career titles. You're more than just your job. Do you believe that? Do you really believe that? This would be a time to step into it. And the scripture that would support that is, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved. Colossians 3:12. Finally, this season, though it's hard, is also an opportunity. It's time to sharpen your skills, invest in relationships, learn profound trust. Your current assignment is to steward this waiting period faithfully, viewing it not as a career hiatus, but as a period of personal and spiritual refining. The scripture that says is, let us not become weary in doing good. At the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Perseverance, resiliency. Those are things that I know sit there. And my deepest prayer as a pastor is that you hold on to those as truths. I know some of you are pushing up against some hard deadlines, some realities that are not existential or metaphysical. They're real. And so my desire is that you really do ground yourself, though, in these truths, that you believe them, because faith isn't faith until it's tested, and some of you are being tested. May he give you the desires of your heart and make all your plans succeed. Psalm 20:40. Those are the things that I pray for you. Before I come in here, I walk from my office here, and for the last decade and a half, that's what I pray. I don't know specifically what's going on, but I pray deeply that you are indeed still recognize your worth and your value. So let me close this in a word of prayer, and you'll get on with your meeting. And again, thank you for the privilege of stepping up here, but we're delighted to be able to host you. Lord, I ask for open doors. I ask for divine connections that you do in the heavenlies, what we don't see evidence here on earth, but you're working for the good of all those who are gathered here this morning. Lord, give them confidence to present their skills boldly, if indeed there's an interview coming up. Lord, grant them favor with hiring managers. Lead them to a place where they can thrive, contribute, and ultimately glorify in you. God, be their all in all, their ever-present companion. In times when the road doesn't seem to lead anywhere, Lord, light the next step for them. Let them do the next right thing. And Lord, please help them to remember that they have been stamped with an identity. They're worth it. Their life is redeemable, not because of what they do or what title they hold, but because you have created them. You blew life into them. So when the world tries to minimize them, Lord, strengthen them from the inside out. And as I said, be their ever-present companion. And may this morning be an opportunity for them to either remember better their faith, come to terms with their faith, or perhaps begin to discover their faith. I leave that all to you, Lord. It is in your great and powerful name I pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So, in a little bit, we'll have Brandy Schade up here, but right now we have Brother Foster Williams, the job father, and we'll get rolling. You ready to go? You're moving good, man.
God's good.
Yeah, I know.
So what we're talking about, good morning, Frisco Connect. So what John and I are talking about is that I had a minor stroke. It don't seem minor to me. Almost a year ago, it was last September. And so God's still hanging in there with me, Todd. He says, you got some more to do, get out there. I'm with you. But you know what? Everybody I'm looking at, God is with all of us, whether we realize it or not. I'm meddling. That's what I do. My dad was a pastor, so that's about the only excuse I got. Hey, Ron. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I am this guy. I am Foster Williams. I am a longtime recruiter, and there were a number of us, me, John, and Steve, and a number of us that created this group. I think it was 17 years ago. I think we're 17 years old. Man, almost old enough to drink, huh? So anyway, that's supposed to be funny. Y'all supposed to be laughing at me. So anyway, I love this network. I'm sure you guys hear me say this every month. If you've been here every month, a lot of you guys are not going to be here next meeting because you're going to get a job. A lot of that's going on. And I'm excited today because 3 lives that I have been involved in landed, got a job. And it's Sally right here. And where's Kathleen? Kathleen's in there. There's Kathleen over there and Jeff over there. All right. So, since I got the mic up here, I was going to hand it to you guys and let y'all tell us a little bit about where you landed, but we can do that a little bit later on. So, guys, there are some wonderful people that make up this network that I want you guys to meet. And I'm looking at Sonia right now. Yay, there's Sonia back there. These lights are bright. Sometimes I have to. So Jeff Morris is here over there. He is the founder of CareerDFW.org. Guys, if you go to CareerDFW.org, you'll know why I'm endorsing CareerDFW. You find everything where everything is. I mean, meetings and events and all sorts of things on CareerDFW.org. So I know a lot of you guys got your phones. You may want to pull up CareerDFW. What's Foster talking about? CareerDFW.org. Now, there's a sister website called CareerUSA.org, and it's got meetings and things all over the United States. Jeff and I have been all over the United States finding out about other folks that are doing what we're doing here because a lot of you guys have family, and you might want, if you got family in North Carolina and lose their job, what do I do? Because I'm a long way away from Texas. I know you guys got a wonderful network there in Texas, but I'm way out here in North Carolina. Well, we got a whole bunch of activity going on in North Carolina. So you can find that kind of stuff through Jeff and through CareerUSA.org. And since I've been involved in this network for so long, I like for you guys to know things that you'll run into. So Ron Layton, I was just looking at, there he is right there. You know, Ron, I like that shirt, man. That's cool. Yeah. So Ron, guys, have you guys heard of the pit crew? Is anybody here that does not know what the pit crew is? Practice interview team. And guys, it is exactly what it sounds like. You guys got an interview coming up? You probably want to practice with those guys. It'll be a harder interview with those guys than will the regular, the company that you're interviewing with probably. It's really, really supportive. It's really, really good. Okay, let's see. Jeff Lamb there's Jeff over there. Jeff Lamb, guys, is a recruiter. He's a much better recruiter than I ever was. But you guys want to meet Jeff Lamb at the break and find out what his company has got going on because I guarantee you he's got a tassel, as my dad used to say, of things going on that might be something you guys might be looking for. And he is the contact point right there. Okay. Hadley and Reagan, where are you guys? There you are, Ray, back there. With Thomas Edwards Group, guys. Thomas Edwards Group is our #1 relationship that we have in this network. And when you meet those folks and other people that work for Thomas Edwards Group, you will understand why that is so. There have been a lot of people out of this very group here and the entire network that have landed a job because of Thomas Edwards Group. I love it. You know how tactile I am, and they are much the same. They know their clients really, really well. They have a real good relationship with their clients. They're not just throwing things around, I tell you guys all the time, I told a few of you guys this morning before we started the meeting that I don't play connect the dots on LinkedIn. I'm blessed because I get a chance to meet you guys before you get your job, help you guys if I can. And during that time, I get to know a little bit about you. I can endorse you if I know a little bit about you. If I don't know you, what am I going to endorse? I mean, you might even not like barbecue. I don't know, but I don't have that big of a relationship with you until I get a chance to. Where's Jaime Ferreira? I just saw him. Hey, Jaime. That's my friend. I just want to acknowledge him. So another person that you guys want to meet, of course, I just showed you guys Hadley and Reagan, and we talked about Ron and Sonia, Trevor, my brother. Stand up, Trevor. Guys, you guys recognize Trevor from the Who You Know Job Networking Show. Trevor has been a part of this group for probably 12 years at least of our existence here. Guys, Trevor is a good person for you guys to get to know, to connect you all over the United States. It's tremendous. And you guys will see him. You turn on LinkedIn, you'll probably see Trevor. You'll probably see videos that he's put together. I've learned a lot about how to do my job through that man right there. So, Trevor, we love you and we appreciate you, brother. So these are folks, guys, you guys, during the break, you get a chance to meet, especially you folks that have landed a job. I'm gonna try to find a time in our program this morning where we can hear about how you guys landed that job. How did it all happen, you know? I have known all three of you guys for quite some time. I love my job. It just don't pay much. You know, it pays greatly. The big man pays me, and he pays me in dividends that I don't have time to talk to all of you guys about. But here's something else. Pete is, where'd Pete? There he is. Pete's got some jobs he wants to share with us. All right. There's Brandy. You know, I haven't seen you in a minute or two. Oh, my God. No? Brandy's my buddy, you guys. Brandy is real smart. And I hang out with her so you guys will think I'm smart too. And so when she's going to teach you some things today, you guys are going to go, oh, wow, I never even thought about that. But we've all got it right here at our fingertips. This network has got everything that you guys need in order to find that job, the right job, not just the job, but the right job, the right career for all of you guys. I'm assuming that everybody in here except Jeff and a few of the ones that have already landed a job are in job search, are looking for a job. Did I come to the right meeting? Okay, I see a few heads going. Okay. But anyway, this guy here is Pete Hernandez, guys, and he is probably the number one person in this network that you probably want to connect with. And he's going to share some jobs with us, and I'm going to shut up and go away. Well, maybe not right now. I'll come back. I love talking to you guys because you never know what you're going to get when you get me on the mic. Okay, Pete.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing this morning? Are you alive? Come on, let's go. How are you doing this morning? Thank you. Much better. Much better. There we go. All right. I just have 3 of them this morning. I posted all these to all the pertinent groups. So if you're part of our groups already, you've already seen these. These the first couple from a company called the Bolton Group, they're a recruiting firm. I've got a senior manager of field human resource operations. Now, when I saw field human resource, a lot of things come to mind. But as I read the job description, they want you to get food safety certified. So I suspect it's some kind of a food industry type of job. But if you're interested in that, let me know. Our contact there at the Bolton Group is Kat Watson. You can reach her at letter K, Watson, at boltongroup.com. So K Watson at boltongroup.com. If you're interested in that, go ahead and send her your resume. Let her know you heard about it from me and Frisco Connect. And then she's also got a senior manager of payroll and benefits. That's a hybrid role. And so if you're interested in that, let me know. By the way, I do have the job description for both of these. So if you want to come see me, I'm happy to forward it to you so you can read it in more detail before you reach out to Kat. And then our buddy Matt Harrington sent us one last night for a project manager 3. It's a senior PM role. It starts out, this is a contract to hire. It'll start out from 60 to 70 an hour with a conversion rate of about 150. You need at least 4 to 7 years of project management experience. If you got a PMP, that's even better, but not required. You got to be customer facing, so you got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. Remember that. And you have to have P&L experience and Jira software platform, in case you guys don't know that. And it's going to be an engineering environment. So they want to be able to have somebody who's got familiar with Schade, S-C-A-D-A. I had to look it up. If you don't know what it is, you're probably not qualified. Sorry? Schade. There you go. See? Somebody knows what it is. So unfortunately, this year we landed a job. So if you guys are interested in that, again, the contract to hire is 6 months. So within 6 months, if you're doing good and you guys like each other, then you can convert to permanent. So that's what I got right now. Again, if you need more details, come see me. I'll be happy to share those with you. And we are a minute away from Miss Brandy. So.
Yeah. I want to remind you guys that that project manager job that Pete was talking about is with a company called RGP, guys, Resources Global Professionals. They have been in relationship with the network for a long time. They're a very powerful group. You guys, when you get a chance, go to Resources Global Professionals and look at their website, see what they have going on. They have some wonderful opportunities and some really nice paying opportunities too. So, yes, sir, Ron. That job? Okay. We're building an executive network with Matt Harrington at RGP. So you're going to hear a lot more about RGP, and we are going to connect and have events. Some of you guys may have been to our first inaugural event that we had last week. So I'll be talking more about that. So, guys, you know what? Brandy Schade decided she was going to come and hang out with us today and talk about something. I don't know. We'll see. But I have got to get myself over here and get my hug. I hadn't seen Brandy and I. We go and we eat Thai food and we talk about job search. That's what we do. Hey, it's good to see you too. Yeah. Look at us. We're still friends. That's cool. Thank you, sir. Y'all, I am a mess. I never know what I'm going to say, but I love all of you guys. I want to see all of you guys get a job. And you know what? Everybody in here that I'm looking at right now, all of you guys are going to get a job. Let's just make sure we get the right one. There are things that we need to think about when we're involving our careers. You'd be surprised through this network what we can tap into and what we can find out about. I always like to say, in this world, in 2026, you guys, you want to find out what you're getting yourselves into. We talk about all these things, but every job is not for you guys. But the right one, God will get you there. All right, I'm going to shut up. You're already mic'd up, aren't you? Then I get to keep my mic because I want to interrupt her sometimes she's talking. Thank you, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for dealing with me.
All right. How's it going? Good. Foster doesn't believe you. So, all right. How many of you have done the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment? Most of you. Okay. So, what did you want to hear about today? Why did you come? What are you hoping for? I don't have a job for you, but you came anyway. So, what is it? What jobs fit? How many of you have that question today? What jobs fit? A few. Okay. What else? It's really hard to see you. Say again? Interesting. So you're looking to bring them up proactively in conversation to demonstrate who you are, what you bring to the table, and to differentiate yourself from other candidates, right? Okay, how many of you are trying to do that? Yeah, right? We're all trying to be the obvious choice in the interview, in the discussions. And we know that we all have that feeling that strengths is part of that, but we're not quite sure how to bring that up. He got it. Cool. What else? Interesting. So you're like, okay, I have specific talents, but I'm not quite sure how I fit into the team. But you have this notion that it's the different personalities that come into the team that make the team whole, that make the team stronger. What else? Yeah. So we're in the interview. How do we, again, differentiate ourselves or make ourselves seem like the obvious choice? What else? What else do you want to hear about today? Yeah? Oh, I love that. That's amazing. How do I not be all things to all people? Because I know that doesn't work, which you're correct. Okay, that's like saying, you and I are in the grocery store together, next to each other, and you tell me, go get me some chocolate from aisle 9. I'm like, oh, I can't win with that notion. I know I'm gonna come back with the wrong thing, right? So what else could the person tell me? Oh, we got real specific there. So somebody said dark chocolate, white chocolate, milk chocolate. That helps. Am I still gonna get it wrong? Yep. Now, this person said M&Ms. Can I get it wrong? But barely. I can still get it wrong, but barely. And I could clarify what type of M&Ms. Okay, peanut M&Ms. Now, I go to the aisle, and there's no peanut M&Ms. Now what? What do I do when there's no peanut M&Ms, but the request, the desire is peanut M&Ms? I could infer, right? I could say, maybe almond M&Ms, maybe peanut butter M&Ms, maybe some sort of M&M with a nut in it would suffice. Okay, so if I come back to the aisle with you and say, hey, they didn't have peanut M&Ms, but they had, these, or maybe I don't even go with the M&M brand anymore, but I switch over to some other chocolate-covered nut, right? And I say, I have these options. Does one of these work? Is that likely to work? You don't think so? You guys are picky. You're just as picky as the job seekers. Right, yeah, I brought the options with me. I'm showcasing them. I'm making them visible, right? I'm making them appealing. Saying, here, choose one of these. These are your choices. It depends on their appetite, right? It depends on how hungry they are. I mean, are they really hungry and they need somebody now? They need, peanut M&Ms right now? Or can they wait for the right thing? Okay, so you guys are getting the point, right? Is that if you brand yourself too broad, what happens? If you call yourself chocolate, no one knows what to do with you. Nobody. You don't know what to do with you. The job seeker doesn't know what to do with you. Your friends don't know what to do with you. No one knows what to do with you. So it is really important to say, at this moment in time, this is what I'm going for. Now, what's so interesting is people are like, oh, but I'm so afraid to miss out on all these things. But if you focus on this, if you focus on peanut M&Ms, if I just said peanut M&Ms, what can people get out of that? What do people know about you? You're nutty. You're chocolate. You have a hard-shelled candy. You taste good. Maybe you're green, maybe you're red, maybe you're orange. Okay? There's a lot that people can tell about you if you say I'm a peanut M&M. So if I say I am a defense and aviation supply chain executive that loves working for, $30 to $50 million companies, you can all go, every one of you can go, oh, this person's gonna be good in operations, they're gonna be good in logistics, they're gonna be good in anything aerospace defense. So you can broaden what they're gonna be good for if they give you this. Versus if you say, I'm a strategic thinker. I have no idea where to put you, who to connect you with, who to have you talk to, what recruiters you should be speaking with, what jobs you should be applying for, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? Do you guys all have that? Do you have the narrow, this is what I'm trying to pursue right now, this is what I want to do? So that everything you talk about, everything that you brand yourself as, everything you put on LinkedIn, everything goes to this thing. Now, what happens when you do this and there's no demand for it? You guys are funny. You're already telling me what to do. I just said what happens. What? You already jumped over here. What happens? That's a pretty low chance. Yeah, sure, it's happened, but why would I go for the 1% chance right now when you need a job? Sorry? Yeah, it's pretty low, right? So what happens if I'm doing this and I'm going hard and I keep doing this and this and this and this, but there's no demand? You just keep coming back to this room. Okay, so first of all, you have to check your demand. How do you check the demand? Yeah, go out onto this wonderful thing called Google Gemini and say, what is the demand for supply chain executives here in Dallas-Fort Worth, blah, 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 whatever it is. And let it tell you there's really high demand for that right now, and here's why, and here's the companies, and here's the things. Or let it tell you there's just no demand for that right now, and here's why, and here's the things. Okay, so now let's go where you were going. If there's no demand, what happens? What do you do? Okay, pivot. How do we pivot? How do we effectively pivot? We can't just go, I have been doing supply chain all my life, and now I'm gonna do marketing. That doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Because you're up against all the marketing executives that have been doing marketing for 30 years and in that specific area, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't just come over here, squash over here. So if you're here and you need to pivot, what do you need to do? We're gonna go like this. We're gonna go, all right, if this doesn't exist right now, because it'll exist again someday, just not right now, right? If it doesn't exist right now in the market, what do I have in my background in this space that someone is looking for in an adjacent market? So for whatever reason, this space is needing some of these professionals, and I become a commodity because I have a specialty here and I want to pivot into this industry, which is rare, but they have a need, they have a demand now. So can you guys all think about that? You can write it down if you want to. Like, what adjacent markets want your skills right now, need your skills for some interesting reason?
I can also, using that same AI example, go out there and say, what other types of industries can use my skill set in supply chain? Things like procurement and other things like that, that are sister industries or sister things that might be able to use my skill set as well.
Yeah, we can do the skill set thing. That being said, how many, let's say, how many jobs, industries, whatever, need my math skills? I'm a mathematician. How many? All, right? So because of that, okay, how am I gonna get hired?
if I'm advertising a staple, like we just expect you to know math, a skill, that's harder to get sold over here for. It's harder to be differentiated. It's kind of like, I just expect you to have communication skills. So if you're advertising, if you guys have on your resume right now, communication skills, it doesn't do anything for you. Why? Because everybody has it. Everybody says they have communication skills, and I'm expecting everybody to be able to have communication skills and to communicate. So it's not a differentiator, and so it's harder to get matched up with something, right? Even if if I'm looking at it that way, Pete, if I'm going, I have a skill and I can transfer the skill, that's from my perspective, not from the hiring manager, recruiter's perspective, who is much more narrow, right? That's saying, I want this person because of this, and this differentiator. Does that make sense? It's really hard to get to, yes? Because you don't know how they are thinking. How do we understand or get to a place where we understand what they are thinking and what they need? What else? We all know to look at the job description and really look at it and really look at it. What else? Who's your hiring manager? You guys should all have different ones. Who's yours? Just yell them out. Who's yours? Who's hiring you? You told me you know exactly what position you're looking for, so who's hiring you? Okay, you have a CIO hiring you. What does the CIO want? What do they need right now? What is so hard? When they say, oh, I look at all these candidates, they all have this. Every single one of them knows this, they know that, they know this. But what I can't find is someone who does this or knows how to do this or this or this or this, right? How do we figure that out? Yeah, how many CIOs do you know? Lots of CIOs. So if you know lots of CIOs, why can't you just go ask them? What's so difficult about the market today? What can't you find? When you're hiring this position, what do you need? What can you never find? What are the chances that you have that thing that they need? Those are pretty high, in my opinion, that you have the thing. That's the job you do, correct? So if that's the case, then all that's happening is they're not hearing it. They're not hearing what they need to hear to consider you as the top candidate and the top choice. You have it, you're just not being seen for it because you're not sure what it is. But if you can figure out what it is, then everything starts to click in. Does that make sense? Questions? Thoughts? Disagreements? Phone call? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yep. You got to have the experience. And that's what we're talking about. If you don't have the experience, you're just not considered with the hiring managers or the recruiters. You can get considered by a friend in that case, right? Because the friend is just going to know you and know that you can transfer skills and you can learn. But recruiters and hiring managers, if that's your target, you got to have the experience, some sort of experience that they want. Okay? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so if this is a great point. If I am a CEO and I have 10 CIO candidates in front of me, who am I going to choose? They all have equal skill because I had a recruiter put them in front of me. The one I like, the one I have connection with, the one I think that's going to fit in with the team, the one that I want to work with every day, day in and day out, meeting over meeting over meeting, the one that I think is going to help the entire culture be successful. So definitely that trumps it when you're in the room. But to get in the room, it's got to be the perfect match. So if you are consistently applying for things where you're not well matched, it's hard to get in the room in the first place. For everybody, right? Yeah, there's several things we're looking at when we do the 8 interview thing. One, we're making sure you're telling the truth, you have a consistent story. 2, we're making sure that you have all the skills, not just the one set of skills. 3, we're making sure you get along with everybody on the team. And we're making sure that when we hire you, our team is invested in you. Because if I hire you and just put you in place and 5 people hate you, as the HR person, that's rough, right? I mean, that's just a mess. So there's a lot of things we're checking. We've learned that it's very expensive to hire somebody, train them, get them all acclimated, and then have to just do it all over again. Like, it's not worth it. So we're making sure to get it right on the first time. Okay, so far so good? Okay, so let me just make this bigger for a minute. Actually, let's pause on this because I'm going to bring this around why I'm showing this to you. So just a little bit about me to get started. This is my company. It's called Onyx Unlocks. What we do is we help people who step into leadership roles all the way through their leadership journey be successful. So we're helping new leaders lead and know how to work with teams and teams of differentiated different personalities and skill sets, come together and work together as teams. We have a interpersonal side of things, which is mine, and then we have a strategy arm of that. And then what's interesting about executives or leaders, as they step into these roles, they don't just sit there and lead teams. They have a bunch of these different hiccups in their journey, right? So they lead here, and then they gotta lead here, and then they gotta lead here, and then they get laid off, and then they don't know what to do from there, and they've got to find a new position, or maybe they've got to make a leap into this other role or this other area. And then when they get to the end of this journey, they get kicked out of corporate, and and they're young still a lot of the time, so then they're like, okay, I either need to become a consultant, or I need to run a small business, or I need to get hired at a small private entity. Like, they have all these different inflection points. And so we help them at every inflection point be successful across that entire journey. So one of our programs is called Executive Pivots. Do you guys know me for this yet? Is anybody? Okay. This is one of our programs. Let's see if there's any cool diagrams on this website. Here we go, right? So what we do here, this is the part where it applies to you. This is where the expertise comes in, because we help executives get new roles. And we do it as either an outplacement service or just one-on-one coaching, okay? So the Executive Pivots program has this lovely little diagram that I want to show you, slideshow, because we're stepping into a piece of this. So this is the entire job transition phases, all right? We got to know where we're going. We got to differentiate ourselves. We got to know how to brand ourselves effectively. We got to have all those executive assets ready to go. Resume, LinkedIn, all the stuff that you spend a lot of time on, making sure it presents well, gets you through the gates. Then we got to know how to communicate that, either when we're networking or in the actual, meeting with a recruiter or the talent acquisition person for the first time. Then we need to, why is communication before networking? So when you go network, you don't botch it, right? Because we can go out there and do all the networking in the world, but if we're not communicating our differentiated brand well, it doesn't go well. And in fact, it can have the negative effect, the opposite of where people will say, don't hire that person. And we don't want that. We want communication to be spot on before you go network. Then we go network. Then what happens? We get roles and opportunities and interviews, and then we also have to convert that into an actual offers, to where we have multiple offers. So today, I bring this up because we are focusing on the first part in the yellow. When we talk about strengths, it's all up in who am I, how do I communicate to people who I am, what is the differentiated value I bring, how do I communicate that, how do I show that, how do I demonstrate that. Any questions about this before I move on? Does this look right to you? Anything missing? Okay. Okay. By the way, there's a free assessment out here if you want to take it that will show you in those quadrants how well you're doing in each one, which is kind of eye-opening because then you're going, oh, yep, it's confirmed I don't do this well. And if I don't do this well, then this isn't going to happen, is it? And then you've got to put, some effort into that area. So if you want, that's executivepivots.com. Anybody can take it. You don't have to be an executive to take it. Okay, so let's open up strengths. Okay, so let me see. Do you need that bigger? Okay, all right.
Brandy, just a reminder for everybody. We're recording this and it'll be posted online. You can get to it on YouTube or on friscoconnect.org, and her slides will take up most of the screen, and Brandy will be in a little inset window in a corner of the screen when we post the recording. So if you want to review any of this, it'll be available to you in about 48 hours after today. Sorry.
That's fine. That means if you want me to put something up on the screen so that you have it for later, just ask, right? Okay, so what Gallup found was that people who have the opportunity to focus on their strengths every day are 6 times as likely to be engaged in life and to do well. How many of you let me ask this, how many of you have been in that space where you were using your strengths full throttle? Ooh, that felt good, didn't it? You remember it. It sits with you really, really well. How many feel like you've never had that? Yeah. But when it happens, and it is there, you'll be like, oh man, it's magical, okay? What happens when you aren't feeling it? It's hard to wake up in the morning. You get confused, you feel like it's you feel like there's a problem, something's just not clicking in, okay? How many of you, that was your last job? Yeah. We get into those roles for a couple of reasons. We need money, our manager gets switched, we get moved into some other department, something happens, right? And we've all been in that space. So at this very moment, help me understand. I like the responses because it helps me know where to take the conversation to give you the most benefit. Where are you at right now? How many of you are like, I just need a job right now? Right, some of you are in that space, okay? Now, how many of you are like, I got a little bit of time to get this right? Okay, so a few people are like, I got a little time to get this right. How many of you are like, I'm good, I'm just looking for the exact right fit of I'm just looking for my next career move? Is anybody in that boat? Okay, got it. I'm gonna skip past that. Okay. So, there's a job out here looking for you. Did you know that? Do you know that? Like someone is looking for your exact experience, your exact skill set, your exact age, your exact gender, your exact temperament, whatever it is. There is somebody looking for you. So the trick is not, does it exist? The trick is, how do I become visible to these guys out here? okay? How unique do you think you really are? How many people have your psychological makeup that are from the country you're from, that are your gender, that have your skills, have your experience? I heard this guest over here from this table, very vocal. Anybody else? Anybody else? 1 in 8 billion. All right. How many strengths total are there in Gallup Strengths Finder? Total. 34. If I just look at the top 5 for a minute and put them in order, top 5, there are 33 million combinations. So just your top 5 in order, you are 1 in 33 million people. How many people on the planet? Divide that by 33 million.
You're
Again?
the actuary, you tell us.
Say again?
So you're the actuary, you tell us.
No, the guy in the black.
I'm not comparing myself to the whole world, but in the U.S. there is 1 in 10. I mean, there is another 10 people that would have my
Oh man,
skill
I'm
set.
sorry, I can't hear him. What's he saying, Pete? Because Oh no, take it to the world. Take it to the world. 7 billion people on the planet divided by 33 million. Because the search is global today. That's part of the problem, right? The search is not US based. The search is global. Recruiters look all over the world to find the right people now. Why? It's remote. I can find the best talent all over the world today. Okay? All right. So 33 million with top 5 strengths. What about if I took all 34? Oh, I didn't give you the answer. It's like 215. So 77 billion divided by 33 million is somewhere around 217, 15, 16, 17. So there's 215, 16, 17 people out there with your strengths, top 5. Okay? What about all 34? You guys are going, it's bigger. We don't know. We don't know, Brandy. It's 2.59 times 10 to the 36th power. All right, how long are you gonna live? Give me a nice round number. Can I do 100, please? Hundreds. You guys are like, please, no, I don't want to live till I'm 100. Did you see the guy that lived till he was like 120? Whew, that's rough. It's like 20 years too long, right? Okay, so let's just take 100. 2.59 times 10 to the 36th power divided by 100 equals 2.59 times 10 to the 35th power. That's a lot of lifetimes that we gotta live just to find somebody that's even remotely wired like us, and that doesn't take into account religion, background, country, upbringing, all experiences, all the things. You guys didn't know you're gonna have a deep discussion this morning, right? That means we're all a very tiny speck of stardust in the sky, each one of us. We're all highly unique. There's nobody like us out there. And jobs are looking for you specifically. They just don't know you. They don't know where to find you. And so we've got to communicate to them, this is who I am. And we've got to understand how to put ourselves out there in a way that they can find us, because their recruiters, right, are looking for us. We're just not visible to them, okay? All right, so we went like this, but now we got to bring it back down into something a little more chewable, okay? So how many domains does Gallup like to talk to in their Gallup Clifton strengths? There's 34 strengths, but they have how many sections of things? 4. They go, okay, let's just bring it back to 4. Okay. So how many of you have a primary strategic thinking set of strengths? Who are my thinkers? You guys said you took it. Do you not know them? Your homework number 1 is to know them, to go home and memorize them. Okay, how about influencers? Ooh, that's more rare, right, to have the influencing one stronger. When we look at the full diagram, all of them are equal except the influencing. The influencing are about 15%, while the other quadrants are a little bit more equal. Okay, what about relationship building? Lots of relationship builders, of course, because we're in this room full of people. And how about executionists? A few executionists. Okay, what I saw from that, though, is you need to go home and learn your strengths. Because it looks like you don't remember them. Okay, so if I'm in primarily the strategic thinking category, what should I be aiming for and looking at? Thinking jobs, job descriptions that say, we require you to do 60% of your time thinking. Yeah, critical thinking, problem solving, strategizing. What about if I'm in influence? Influence is a people strength. We are influencing. We are getting people to do things that they would not have done otherwise. What is that? Marketing, sales. It could be, any procurement people in here? I didn't realize how influencing and the negotiating skills that procurement people have to have until I got to know them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then what about if I'm a relationship builder? Oh, kinds of stuff. Everything takes relationship management, right? That could be HR, that could be account management, that could be just running a team, for example. There's lots of things. Even running a team takes all of these too, right? Like strategy, influence, relationship building, execution. And then if you're a strong executor, we're moving into roles that require a high amount of execution. What if you have all 4? Balanced, equal? Well, product management requires that. So we're looking for roles that need all 4. Because if you have all 4 and you don't get to use all 4, you feel kind of a little empty. So we're looking for roles that say, I need someone like a general manager, right, that can do this, 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 and this. Does that make sense? Okay. So 2 people gave me their strengths today. So we're going to look at 2 sets of strengths. But if you're already, is anybody already in my system that I could add to this? Name? Meredith. Let's see if Meredith is in here. We could add yours. Meredith. There you are. Okay, anybody else want to be in here? Let's see if you're in here, Todd. 2 Ds or 1? Yay, I think I have you in here. Anybody else? How do you spell last name? Nope, I don't have you, sir, I'm sorry. Unless you went by Tom, T-O-M-B. Nope, okay. Don't have you. Anybody else? I got yours, Aaron, because you gave me them. Yeah. I'm trying to read your lips from here. Yeah, I don't have you. Yep. Okay. Anybody else has given me their strengths before? Oh, where are you? D-A-O, Sarah. Okay, and there was one more? Victor? Last name? I don't think I have yours in here. Okay, are we done with that? Or anybody else want to get in on this? Okay, so now I have a team. I have a team of people that we get to look at. So let's start looking at this team. Let's start breaking it down. Okay, so this is the average population over on the right. Okay, that's all of the Gallup Clifton strengths assessments that exist in the world today. And then this is my team today. So if I'm looking at my team, what do we notice about my team? Yep, we got a good mix. We've got a little bit less influence, a little bit more strategic thinking, executing, relationship building. Could I sell? Maybe. Could I market? Maybe. Could I execute? Operations? Maybe. Could I build some relationships? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I could do some thinking, some strategic thinking, some strategy work. Why am I saying maybe? I don't know their skills yet. I don't know if they even like all these things I'm saying. So part of it is how you're wired, and part of it is what you like, and part of it is what you've done, your experience. Part of it is what the market is asking you to do now. All right, so write these down. 4 things. What has been my experience? Because that's what's valued by others. Even if you don't value it anymore, that's what others value about you. The demand of the market, because if there's no demand, you have no job, no interviews. Then we still have to do something we want to do. We still have to do something that we like and have a desire to do. And another big thing is location. So all of this also has to be looked at from a location perspective. Do we want to work locally? Do we want to work remotely? Do we want to work globally? What's available where? And we must consider that if we want to get a bunch of opportunities coming our way. Okay, so we have this team, and I need to figure out who's going to do what. So I start looking at it and going, wow, Aaron and Gabby, does he go by Gabriella, Gabby? Gabby, all right, Aaron and Gabby look similar, so I got to think about if I need them doing different stuff or if I have a big chunk of work that requires both of them with the same types of skill sets to work on. Then I've got Meredith, who I think I might ask if she wants to do relationship building and sales and account management and sales. Any interest there? That would be amazing if you also have interest there. I would be talking to Sarah about my strategy. And hey, what am I missing? What am I not thinking about? Okay. Same with Todd. I'd be asking him primarily about the strategy. Okay. Now, if you're like, okay, but are they a detailed strategy person, like analysis, or are they big picture? This is where I have to start clicking in and getting a little bit more detailed. So Todd is super detailed. Is that correct, Todd? I mean, he needs information, he needs the data, and if you're just up here talking about stuff with an opinion, doesn't count. It has to have truths, right? It has to be real, has to be tangible, it has to be shown somehow in a graph or, be validated, let's say. And if not, what is Todd gonna do? He's gonna ask you questions and he's gonna validate it and he's gonna test it and he's gonna see if your theory is right or wrong. So, Todd, does this work well with humans? No, it's not blue, it's green. Green, strategic thinking is good with processes, it's good with theories, it's good with data. It is not good with humans. Why don't humans like to be questioned and berated with questions and asked and validated and tested? Why? They feel like it's challenging them personally. They feel like their integrity is being challenged. They feel like the trust is being challenged. They don't like that feeling of feeling uncomfortable, like they've done something wrong. So humans are complex, right? They have all these feelings in the way. If they were just logical machines, they wouldn't mind just giving you the data and the answers. And if they were also unbiased with themselves, right? But they've got all these feelings wrapped up into it. It comes out sideways when you start hammering them with, trying to get information or the questions. And he might be saying, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it so it's clear so we know what to do. And the human's going, this feels awful though, okay? So we have to be very conscientious when our style is one way and when we have another person that can handle this because they're built this way and when we don't, when that person feels threatened or vulnerable or scared or whatever it is from the line of questioning. So this is really important in your interviews. It's important for you to know who's across the table. Now, you can't walk in there and say, here's your Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment. Before you interview me, can you please take this so I know how to talk to you? It would be really nice, wouldn't it? If you could do the same thing they're doing to you. Okay? But we can't. So how am I going to get to this? How am I going to know this about them when I can't give them an assessment? Yeah, I can do my research ahead of time. I can go to YouTube. I can look up their profile on LinkedIn. I can see how they're wording things, how they're positioning things. I can see what they did with the job description. I can ask them some questions. Okay? What are the best types of questions? So this is where I go into my, I really, if I had it all to do over again, I think I would have been, what's the person called that sits in the room that questions people that have done a murder? Not detective. That's what I would have been, okay? I just love their techniques. I love interrogator techniques. I study them. What's glorious about interrogator techniques? The sophisticated ones, by the way, not the ones where they like beat you, not that one. Although I could probably do. Yeah, they ask questions, but come on, you can't say, did you murder her? You can't say that. What is the person gonna say? No. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, yeah, these are questions that get you to want to open up and share and speak. And why do I need that in my profession? I'm an executive coach. Why do I need that? Yeah, well, I gotta know who they really are. I gotta know where their motivations are. I gotta know how they tick in order to work with them. I gotta know what they are willing to do and what they are not willing to do. And most of all, I have to know how to approach them. Because guess what executives are? Stubborn. So if I am to try to help them see something that's a bit of a gap and get them to act on it, I really have to know their psychology, okay? So I love interrogative questioning. So you guys need to learn a bit of this for your interviews. So what's the best type of question? Open-ended. Now, does open-ended get you your information? Nope. Because they're gonna avoid that like the plague, right? They don't wanna give you information. They don't know you, they don't trust you yet. So we've got to create a space to ask an open-ended question, but we've got to ask very strategic open-ended questions because we have a very short amount of time to learn who they are and what they care about, okay? So you could ask a question like, what did you do over the weekend? Is that going to get you what you need? Why not? They could have been doing anything. It could have been obligatory. It could have been relevant. It could have been something they value. It could have not. So that one's not a good one because it doesn't get you a lot of information. What if I said, what are you most passionate about right now? What would you answer if I asked you that? What are you most passionate about right now? And then I would immediately say, that feels more obligatory. Finding a job feels obligatory. It feels like a thing you got to do in order to make your economics meet, and make ends meet, right? But if you had a job and you had tons of money and you never had to worry about it, what are you most passionate about right now? That's a different answer, correct? What do they tell you? If they are willing to open up and tell you, which most people are, what do they tell you? If I asked you that, what are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me about your aspirations. You're going to tell me about what makes your heart tick. You're going to start doing what? You're going to just talk. You're going to get all off track for 10 minutes and tell me all about this thing. And that allows me to listen and understand who you are, what makes you tick. I get to hear all of your language, how you need to be spoken to, what is driving you. I can pick up on all of that if you just speak to me for, 5 to 10 minutes and tell me what you are most passionate about and what is super exciting to you right now. So what happens if someone starts telling me about the future? What are they from a Gallup Clifton Strengths perspective? They're probably futuristic. What do futuristic people care about? The future. So what am I going to talk about? The future. This isn't rocket science. It's amazing stuff, but it's not rocket science, okay? Now, what if someone talks to me about how they went to this event and they won this person over and they won this other person over and they made all these new friends and it was just so exciting and so much fun? Woo, who said that? Good job, girl. Woo, that's woo. So if I find out that I have a woo in front of me, what do? I actually don't woo them. I let them woo me. I let them win me over. Because what are they trying to do? What is their whole goal in life? It's to win me over. And they're going to feel like it was the best conversation in the world if they felt like they won me over, which is super counterintuitive what we're thinking in interviews, right? We're thinking in interviews, I need to be winning them over, and I'm showing my stuff, and I'm trying to sell myself and whatnot. Not with a woo. A woo wants to win you over. They're going to feel like you're amazing if they can win you over. Okay? Do you have an example? I have tons of examples, but do you have an example of what you've been like in an interview with somebody and you were like, ugh, I do not know how, okay, let's take the hard one. Any military people in here? Okay. Have you been in a militant interview with a militant type leader? What's difficult about them? They don't give you anything. So what would you do if you were like, I'm in this interview with this militant person? Can you assume what they value? Can you make some assumptions? Yeah, maybe they value discipline. Maybe they value honor, right? Maybe they're valuing the consistency. Maybe they're valuing that you showed up early. You know, maybe they're valuing your work ethic or your integrity. You can make some assumptions. So what do you need to showcase in the moment, on the spot? All of those things. Okay, so what's another way that I could be triggered by, like, how would I know who's across the table? Just, you tell me, what are you observing? What are the things that tell you about a person? Body language, what else? Sorry? Eye contact, what else? Eye contact really tells me about how they feel about themselves, right? They're either confident or not confident. What else? Tone of voice. Oh, that's a good one. Are you guys listening to the tone? Are they excitable? Are they in a hurry? Are they fast speaking? Are they slow and relaxed? Are they pensive? Do they pause and then think? Are you guys paying attention to that? Because you need to do what with that? Mimic. We mimic. If we want the person's frequency on the other side of the table to match, if we want to match it, we need to match them, at least to some degree. It doesn't have to be exact because you don't want to be inauthentic, but it needs to be closer to their frequency. If you're pulling clear over here, they're probably not going to like you. Okay? Anything else? You haven't said the one I'm waiting for. Okay, yep, there could be a way that they script the interview, a way that they go about it. What about their exact words choice? Their exact word choice typically gives them away, right? Are you teaching me something? Are you sharing something with me? Are you providing the information to me? Those are all the same things, right? Are they the same? You're taking information from here to here. So essentially they're the same, whether you're teaching it whether you're providing the information, whether you're sharing it. But those three words mean very different things to those people. So if someone shares it with me, what's their strength? Yep, it's relational. If someone gives me the information, what's their strength? Yep, it's in the strategic thinking area because it's the probably input, right? They're giving me the information. And what was the third one? Teaching. What could that be? That could be the learner, the intellect, the context, or the input. Those are your teachers in the group. They love to teach. And so it matters which one they are, because now how I'm going to speak to them, I'm either going to speak to them about sharing stuff, we're sharing, or here's your information, or let me show you what I've learned, right? And help teach them what I've learned, and they will be excited about learning. So it really matters who's on the other side of the table. Is this overwhelming or is this interesting? I got both. So how do we even begin this journey? What's the first step? How do you start learning who's on the other side of the table? Let's say we don't know them yet, okay? Foster's all excited about meeting the new person. Yeah. What was it? Yeah, but how do we start? Okay, take it back one more. They don't exist yet, okay? They don't exist yet. How do we start this journey about learning about people? You took the assessment, now what? Did you read the book? Good. Should you read it again? Yeah, you should probably read it again because it's magical. It has all this stuff in there. It teaches you about not only, you probably read it with the lens of who am I, now go back and read it with who are other people. Why do other people act the way they do? What is their motivation? How do they speak? How do I need to speak to them? Okay. The best book that I would recommend to also enhance your interviewing skills is not an interviewing book. There's lots of those which are helpful, okay? They help you frame it, they help you step through it, they structure it, which is really helpful. But if you want to be more dynamic and be able to react to the moment dynamically, I would read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Has anybody read that one? It's exceptional, right? Because it gives you those practical tools in the moment to know how to understand how to navigate the situation, how to answer the questions, how to ask the right questions, and how to get to where you want to go, which is essentially the offer. Because interviewing is not passive. It's not, I just go in there and interview. It's, I'm trying to get the offer. And if you don't understand that you are trying to get an end result, which is the offer, then you're probably not taking the steps that would get you the offer from the beginning. VOSS, Chris Voss. Yeah, negotiator. How much time do I have, guys? 5 minutes. All right. So is there anything that you want me to cover that I haven't covered yet? Let me open it up. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good question. So do you want to know how your strengths change over time, or do you want to know how you take your strengths to do what we're talking about to do? Okay, good. All right, so when you're born with what? Genetics. Okay. Now, what's happening as you're growing with those genetics? They're either being reinforced or squashed. Do you guys have part of your genetic code that was squashed growing up? I know I did, suffocated. But I also had parts that were really lifted up, and I got to excel. So we have the genetic code. Some of it's reinforced, some of it's squashed. When it's reinforced, what happens in the brain? Yeah, so it's crazy. This rush of nutrients comes and forms around where we're using the brain, and it just builds it grows it really quickly. So instead of these little tiny pathways, we have these interstates, these roads in our brain that are just working. And where do those fall on the strengths? Aaron, I'm gonna come back to yours. Let's see, grab your other hair. Aptitude. All right, here's the full set of strengths. Woo, yeah. Those are definitely Gabby's strengths. Up and close, personal. Okay, so the interstates, where are they on this graph? At the top. What about the ones at the bottom? What's happening down here? Oh, those are awful, right? That is more than less engaged. That's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to think about this. I want someone else to do this. I don't care about this. This is not a value to me. I can honor it and know it's needed in the world, but it's not for me. So I love looking at the bottom of the strengths because it helps you guys all understand, don't go there. Just don't do this. This isn't going to be fun. You're not going to be good here. You're not going to excel, right? You're going to be great here, which is at the top of the strengths. Okay. So you have your genetic code. You have the reinforcement. You start building these interstates. And then you hit 25. What happens at age 25? This process is not over, but it is highly de-emphasized in the body. Okay, it's much harder to build the interstates. It's much harder to switch the neural pathways. It's much harder to change who we are. We start at 25 solidifying who we are, how we think, what we're made for, based on this genetic code and building process that we started with. So do strengths change over time? Kinda. Most of the time, you're gonna see them shift around, but you're gonna keep your top 10. Top 10 is top 10. And it's a matter of what you're focusing on, the environment you're in, what you're pulling up to the top to flex and use. But it's so unlikely that I'm ever gonna tap into the bottom. And if I do, it's just so hard and so awful, I don't spend a lot of time there. And so they're not gonna change drastically like that. They're just gonna shift around after 25. And they usually just become more solidified over time. So if you take it younger, that it could change a bit, but if you take it when you're older, it actually stays. Now, does that mean that me as a human stays where I'm at and doesn't evolve and doesn't mature? No, of course, I can continue to evolve and mature. I can continue to learn things in the bottom, but I'm primarily coming at it and doing it through my top strengths. So that's how I'm motivated. So like, this person wants to get something done, this person wants to get something done. This one's gonna get it done because they wanna win. This one's gonna get it done because they wanna help somebody. Two different motivations, same outcome. Does that help? I really wanna talk to you afterward. Because that tells me that you've been in environments that have abused your strengths versus you really embracing like what they are and what they do for you and having them work for you in a way that you love, right? Yeah. What else? What else would be helpful before we go today? What did you get out of today? What'd you learn? Study. Research. The job. Yeah, what is valued? Let's repeat that. What's valued? Your experience is valued by others. The market demand is valued. Yeah, I want someone who wants to be there and wants to do it, right? Right, and where are you located and what do I need? Do I need you local or do I need you remotely? That's absolutely right.